General studies is the core of the UPSC examination. Most of the time in your preparation journey, you will be reading, learning, relearning, revising topics from general studies. There is absolutely no escape from it. You have to prepare for it thoroughly in the prelims. In fact, it determines whether you'll clear it or not. Uh, it amounts for most of the marks and mains, and there is no escape from it in the interview as well. The best possible option, in my opinion, is to get comfortable with it, is to get very good at it. Because if it accounts for so much of the marks in the examination, then being better at it is going to account for that much more advantage in the final score. That being said, it is not at all easy to do because of certain problems and challenges which general study poses. I want to get into those challenges and I want to tell you how to tame those challenges and how to simplify it, how to find a method to the madness so that when you do prepare for it, and even if you are preparing now, things get simplified. Simplified to the extent that you know exactly what you're doing, so that at least the confusion of general studies is forever and thoroughly taken care of. We will be doing this sequentially like we always do, and I'll begin with the introduction, which I think is very appropriate uh, to obtain from the syllabus itself. So this is the official UPSC notification, and this is the syllabus for the general studies for prelims. Looks straightforward enough. It says current events of national and international importance, history of India and in the Indian national movement, Indian world geography, Indian polity, economics, environment, and science. Looks straightforward enough, but the questions are not straightforward at all. The questions in prelims you will find, I'm sure you already know, are sometimes hard. The sources of the questions are not at all well defined. We don't know where they ask the questions from. They do not always ask questions from the NCERTs. The options between the questions are also hard and difficult. It's not easy to eliminate the questions. Not only that, the questions themselves require a combination of memory, of you knowing the details and the facts of the issue, and you having a thorough understanding of the conceptual basis of it as well. And only with those combined and with a little bit of luck will you be able to actually pinpoint the absolutely correct answer of the UPSC prelims questions. And that is the nature of difficulty of the UPSC prelims. But since it's a competitive examination and it's a relative examination, you don't have to worry about being perfect. You just have to worry about being better than the other guy. And so hopefully we'll be able to do that today. Take the syllabus for the GS mains. Things here become a lot more detailed, and you have topics ranging from Indian culture, going to Indian society, the diversity. It includes culture, ancient India, medieval India, and even world history is included. You have a whole lot of geography, which is itself an academic discipline in its own right. It's absolutely massive. It includes everything from tsunamis to volcanoes to cyclones. You then have general studies paper 3, or what they call as general studies 2, in which you have essentially polity, in which you have a very detailed list of topics which you absolutely must know about. Then you have paper 4 or general studies 3, in which you have technology, economic development, biodiversity, security, diversity, and so on. Now, it's not easy to understand, and I agree with my friend Hank here that it all seems quite hard. First of all, you don't know whether you should prepare history, for instance, for prelims. Should you prepare it for mains or should you do them simultaneously? It is not clear what the sources are going to be, and it is not clear how to actually approach this entire thing, right? So what most people do is just jump in and try to figure it out like other people have figured out. But unfortunately, the cost of trial and error in this examination is very, very heavy. It's going to cost you an attempt or maybe more, which is going to cost you a lot of money as well as a lot of time, not to mention the enormous opportunity cost. I don't want that to happen to you. So please follow what I'm going to tell you over the next 10 minutes or so. It is going to be absolutely essential. I will be giving you 5 critical insights, 5 guiding principles, which is the absolute basis of what everything which general studies encompasses. I want you to use those and to formulate a strategy accordingly. Starting with the first one, which is that general studies is the integrated knowledge of the world. You need to understand that academic distinctions, like we conveniently impose on the world or on the syllabus of economics, geography, history, they do not apply. in reality in general studies. They don't apply to the world, and therefore they do not apply to the UPSC examination, because what is being tested for the general studies is the fact, stands for the fact that the UPSC is testing for a generalist civil service, right? This is not a specialized service or a specialized examination. If they wanted to test for engineers, they would have an engineering examination separately, which they do. What you are applying for in the civil service examination is being an administrator who should be a generalist administrator by mindset, such that they can be placed in all types of different environments, different departments, different areas, and perform quite well. And to have that ability to assimilate a lot of wide variety of topics and to understand those is the reason why general studies has been introduced to this examination. Take an example from the previous year questions just to illustrate what I've been telling you. Take question number 7. This is from the 2020 paper of mains. Take question number 7. Account for the present location of iron and steel industries away from the sources of raw materials by giving examples. Take question 9. COVID-19 pandemic accelerated class inequalities and poverty in India. Now, both of these questions do not fall into any strict academic distinctions. You might place the first one in geography or in economics. You could place the COVID question in science and technology. You could place it in economics or socioeconomics. It is not clear because they are dealing with the real stuff. The real stuff of life does not adhere to any strict academic disciplines, and that is the type of mindset that you must bring into your preparation, and I'll tell you how, but for the time being, just bear with me. The second thing which you need to be very keenly aware of is that GS for mains and prelims is equivalent. What I mean by saying that they're equivalent is that when you prepare for GS for prelims and mains, you should do the preparation simultaneously, at least in the beginning stages of the preparation. Only when the examination becomes very near, when it draws very near, should you distinguish between being completely focused on prelims or being completely focused on mains, because it doesn't matter, because the knowledge that you gain in understanding the subjects is going to get tested in both ways. It's just the type of format which is different between prelims and mains. One is multiple choice, the other one is more objective. It requires a little bit of different training, yes, but the knowledge and the base of the knowledge remains the same. So until that base of that knowledge is formed in your mind, please treat them at par, right? The third reason, and something which I've been mentioning before, is that general studies syllabus is a list of goals for the government of India. These are not topics which are being inserted there just for the heck of it. These are all topics which are governance challenges. They are challenges to the executive organ of the government, which is what you want to be a part of, right? You want to be one of those people who makes policies, who implements policies, and so therefore you must understand intimately what the problems of the country are. In fact, you would be, in fact, I think it might shock you to see and analyze how closely the list of ministries that you have corresponds to the general studies syllabus in mains, right? Everything that you find mentioned in general studies main syllabus will have a corresponding ministry. There is a Ministry of Culture, there's a Ministry of Family Welfare, there is a Ministry of Economic Development, there is a Ministry of Finance, a Ministry of Home which deals with security. Why are these ministries there? They are there because they are addressing particular challenges. What are the topics in general studies mentioned there? They are a list of challenges. And in order for you to address these challenges, you must have a basic grounding of the challenges. In fact, the element of these challenges is tested very directly in, especially in the mains exam. They will ask you for your opinion. They will ask you for implications. They will ask you for the reasons. They will ask you conceptual, analytical, practical, and application-based questions. The fourth thing is that you need to be aware that current affairs cannot be treated as a separate entity, as a separate subject, as a separate academic discipline, because it isn't. There is no academic discipline called current affairs. Current affairs is equal to dynamic general studies. What you understand, what you read about in general studies, the basic general studies, when you understand and accumulate the knowledge of, say, earthquakes and how the Earth's crust sometimes shifts and rotates and it causes friction between plates, and that causes a pressure to accumulate, and then when the pressure is released, you have an earthquake. That basic understanding needs to go along with current events. Take, for instance, the farmer protests in the country. Now, it might appear to you to be an isolated incident of protest, but if you trace it back to its theoretical underpinnings, you realize that it is not only an issue of economics, because of course there is an economic policy involved. It is an issue of geography. It is an issue pertaining to agriculture. It is an issue pertaining to how the government treats its macroeconomic policies. It is an issue of economic philosophy as well. Is India moving towards a more capitalist system, or should it retain its more socialist structure? All of these questions, which by the way pertain to all of the different divisions that I just mentioned, are part of that topic. You can't appreciate that topic unless you have a basic understanding of all of those things. And that is the level at which that UPSC is going to ask you the questions. And it is the level at which that level of maturity which you must achieve if you're going to answer the questions that they're going to ask in mains exam. So keep that in mind. And coming to the fifth and the last guiding principle or critical insight. Again, this is something I've been mentioning before. Curiosity is the secret ingredient. I'm not just saying that because I invented this idea, this concept. I'm saying it because it is absolutely true. It's because the UPSC says it too. Take a look at what they're saying in the UPSC official notification. This is the official notification, right? This is not taken from any other website. This is the official notification. They use the word interest thrice. They use the word curiosity many more times. Look at what they're saying. Some of the qualities to be judged are mental alertness, critical powers of assimilation, balance of judgment, variety, and depth of interest. Questions in general studies will be from matters of general interest, interest in current affairs, right? And so, after having told you all this, I suppose the next question which you have in your mind, the pressing question, is how exactly are you supposed to integrate all of these insights into your preparation? How is that going to become actionable for you? What do you do with this information? Right? I'm going to tell you exactly what to do with this information. The broad structure of general studies should be and can be broken down into 6 subject domains. I call them 6 SD. That's history, economics, polity, environment, geography, and science. This is the basic structure. Now notice that current affairs is not part of it, because like I mentioned, everything that happens in the world as events evolve, which pertain to any of these, becomes current affairs. We'll talk about that later in detail. But we essentially divide the whole syllabus into these 6 broad subject domains. And the diagram here, which you see, the hexagon, is the syllabus for general studies as it is depicted in the ultimate UPSC navigator, which I will tell you about later. But there is a very good reason behind this, and there is also a very good reason why they are colored differently. Take the mains examination, for instance. What you see here in the diagram in this image is the General Studies 1 syllabus, which essentially constitutes of history and geography. And the reason that it has been color-coded, you can see the syllabus listed out, and you can see the syllabus then transposed into that diagram. The reason it is done and the reason why it's been color-coded is that you can then instantly recognize that the blue part is history, and that the green part, whatever the color corresponds to, is geography. So, General Studies 1 in mains is essentially history and geography. Likewise, General Studies 2 in mains is essentially polity. All of it in detail is polity. General Studies 3, however, is a combination of economics, environment, and general science. Now, when you look at all of those things in conjunction, when you look at all of them in together, it will give you the impression that what you're essentially doing is following the same subjects in 2 different formats. You have the blue stuff up there in General Studies prelims, which is history, and then you have the same thing repeated in mains. And so this color coding tells you that what you study in mains has already been done in prelims, and what you're going to do in prelims, or what you're doing in prelims, will have to be done in mains in just more detail. That insight is integrated into the navigator, which is going to prove very helpful. We'll get into how exactly to make the best use of it. But for now, what I have done is created and designed a general studies proficiency test, which is going to give you a very clear idea, hopefully, of where you stand in these subjects, so that you can use that insight and combine them and use it in your strategy.